Throughout history, all the great men that I have studied, all the great men that I've read about in books, I'm talking philosophers, Karl Marx, Max Weber, Auguste Comte, Pablo Picasso, they have all lived unconventional lives. And their lives have, it's like when you study their works, you study their writings, you find out that they tried as much as possible to lead exemplary lives. They were labeled as rebels at the time. Now we call them philosophers. But then, most of them were labeled, most of them were called heretics. It is important that before a man comes out with what he wants to do with himself, he should lay certain lines so that he is not misunderstood, so that he's not labeled. For the past, not even the past few months, for years now, I've struggled with labels, different labels, labels that I felt were not justly given to me, or labels that did not actually describe who I am as a person. It is important for anybody starting out in life to not be confined by labels. And it is even worse now for the next generation. This next generation now, a lot of them, they are labeled right from childhood. They carry negative labels into their teenage lives, into adulthood. My own generation, we are not strangers to this. We know we are dealing with it. That's part of our problem. But I feel that for us to leave a mark, we should be able to leave something different for the next generation. They deserve it. If nothing else, they deserve to start new. Because I'll be sincere with you. By now, a lot of people's outlook on the world, 2020 it has reshaped the way people viewed the world, or the way they thought things would play out. If I had released a particular video, I recorded, okay, find video 4. After listening to this, if you are free, you check out video 4. If I had released video 4 in 2017, a lot of people would have just laughed. It's entertainment. Somebody just had some point to say. But me releasing something like that now would have a greater impact because people have had time to reflect. They've actually had time to think. Should I say think? Or notice the changes in society. Like this lockdown thing. I don't believe a lot of people are prepared for it or what comes next after the lockdown. A lot of people think this lockdown is just going to pass, but this lockdown is going to open up so many things that people are not prepared for. Like now, this lockdown has opened some doors and it has also closed some doors. I don't know how I'm going to put this clearly for people to understand. It's like technological advancement. When things change, opportunities will open, some opportunities will close. While people are struggling to find how to proceed with the new, some get breakthroughs, some start new things. Those new things can lead to new systems, new structures, and it happens. It does happen. But right now, I'm not seeing it. Not for us. Because we have become so closed minded. Everybody is just trapped within themselves. The other day, I went online. I was trying to study. Okay, I was searching about self, but I ended up reading different articles about a me syndrome. Actually, this thing, what we are going through right now, everybody just concerned about their identity, how they view themselves, their lifestyle. It's just like the more people think, the way people are thinking about personal, 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 this has helped shape advanced countries before. And the way it helped shape them, it can help shape us too. It's just that we have to be able to strike a chord in one another. It can't happen without trust. It can't happen without unity. And I will tell you why. All the great philosophers that I mentioned earlier, all these men, they were all interested in creating utopias for themselves. That utopia is not like they were saying, let us move to the promised land. Oh. The utopia they intended to create for themselves, they intended to create an utopia within the system. And they understood that everybody had a role to play in it. For me to be able to create the utopia, I cannot do it alone. Only a fool would think he can do it alone. That's why to create an utopia, you need a lot of things to be involved. One, peace. That's why the idea of any disruption in the system, it can't pop. It can't pop. For any progressive change to occur, one, there must be peace. There must be certain foundations, structures in place that will allow growth. Why am I saying this? There must be family. There must be freedoms. There must be rights. There must be understanding. These are just the basics. Without all these things in place, no matter how somebody comes and say, okay, I'm a revolutionary, we are going to do this, we are going to do that, you'll find out that you'll be fighting a system, but you are not replacing that system with anything tangible. You are not replacing that system with anything that can last. Okay, I talked about Karl Marx, Machiavelli. I did not even. A lot of people never knew what happened within the personal life of Madiba Mandela. I'm talking about his personal life, him and Winnie. A lot of people didn't actually. Mandela went through a lot, oh, but most people do not. It's not like they do not care, but they looked at his victories and they never saw the faults. They never saw that he was winning in one side, he was also losing in another. But I believe it was worth it. In the end, for glory's sake, for namesake, let's say that it was worth it for him. But to him as a person, was it actually worth it? When he sat down in his old age and he saw the way things played out, not just for himself, but for those around him, those that helped in his movement for a greater South Africa. Do you think he was happy in the end? I hope he was happy anyway, because he did great things. Now back to where I'm leading with this. We are 2 years away from another election. Maybe 21, 22, 23, 2, 3 years away from another election. A lot of people are crying that our president is dead, stuff like that, because of the images that they are putting online. That it's a fake, it's a clone, it's a this, it's a that. Let's try and look beyond that. Who's coming next? The person that is coming next, is it going to be able to make a difference, to make a change? A lot of people think it's just going to be business as usual. I'll not lie to you. For many years, I never followed politics per se. Not like I didn't see the interest in it or I didn't want it or. To me, politics is just complicated in its own way. But if it is that we are to change that, if the next generation is to change that, a lot of things will have to change. Have you noticed that this is not just Nigeria now, even in advanced countries? Have you noticed that the youth do not vote? Voting is an exercise left for the elderly, 40 and above. So when you think of it, those people, it is their views that actually reach the ballot box at the end of the day. So for everybody that is gingering, that they think protest is the answer, after protest, you realize that you have to have a voter's card in order to make an actual difference. Is anyone following me? I just had an idea now. If we are to be fair to it, how many protesters have voter's card? It's just a thought that just came to my mind. How How many protesters have voters card? A lot of people, they are carrying cardboard paper, cardboards, crying around. Do you know that you can actually make a change by just your environment alone? And I believe that change begins with not just personal, but family as a unit before it goes into friends. Because now ourselves, for the person that is watching this video, let's be sincere. How many friends can you actually say you have right now? The world has become so complex, everybody is disconnected. So it's like a lot of people cannot even point and say, I know this is that. So all these things are things that we need to put into check if we are to actually make positive change.